The UK is banning adventurous sex. The UK is banning hookups. The UK, I don't know, it's like they're in Puritan New England now. Health protection bill, this is about coronavirus, this is about obviously the pandemic. They added on Monday, no person may participate in a gathering which takes place in a public or private place indoors and consists of 2 or more persons. Then elsewhere it says no person may, without reasonable excuse, stay overnight at any place other than the place where they are living. The effect of this, they're using kind of euphemistic language, but what they're saying is don't have sex with people who you're not already living with. And the fine that can be levied if you break this rule is £100 or £50 if paid within 14 days, which is a pretty expensive romp in the hay. The reason that this law matters, I mean, I think it's perfectly fine to curtail people's sexual adventurism during a pandemic, but the reason it matters is it shows something that President Trump was talking about during his Rose Garden speech about the riots and the chaos and everything. He said that there's a relationship between liberty and justice, liberty and order. And this is something that we used to know, it used to be common sense, but now we've all forgotten, which is that freedom is not just being allowed to do whatever you want all the time and following your own appetites. Actually, that's the opposite of freedom. And if you do that for a long time, you're not going to have freedom for very long. Actually, the only way you can have freedom is if you follow the rules. John Adams said this. He said, our Constitution's built for a moral and religious people. It's not fit to the governance of any other. The thing that everyone seems to forget is that order will be imposed. There will be order, okay? Either you can order yourselves, and a free people can run their own families, run their own communities, run their own civic organizations, or the government will impose order on you. And that's, we had a lot more of the former in the earlier stages of our country. Now we have a lot more of the latter. The only thing that remains consistent, though, is order will be imposed. We used to have, actually in the earlier parts of the country, we used to have a much stricter sexual morality, right? So you used to not be able to just go to the bar and hook up with whoever and go on Tinder and do all that sort of thing. Didn't mean people didn't violate the rules sometimes, but there was a very strict sexual morality. Then we had the sexual revolution. That sexual morality went away, and it was just, our morality was if it feels good, do it. But now we're seeing increasingly the sexual morality reimposed. In the United States on college campuses, for example, that's reimposed through popular political slogans like the rape culture, the idea that there is this mass rape going on, that Harvard Yard is more dangerous for young women than downtown Fallujah, which is obviously not the case, but there is a lot of confusion going on with sexual engagements. So now everything is about consent. You got to sign a consent form. You got to make sure everything's really buttoned up. Otherwise, you go before a campus tribunal or you get expelled. In the old days, you would have been expelled if you snuck into a girl's room at night and you guys had a sort of encounter. Now you'll be expelled for basically the same thing, but through a different liberal lens. Same thing here in the UK. This could be out of Victorian England. It's like history repeats itself. You know, maybe first as tragedy, then as farce. The order will be imposed. I think we would all rather live in a society where we have some say over that order, where we run our own lives, we choose to follow the rules. But if we don't, mark my words, this isn't a threat, this isn't just an observation. Those rules will be imposed on us, and we're not going to like how it looks when we're all told to follow them.